Good afternoon, everybody. Hello and welcome to the Netherlands. It's round 18 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. We are at the Cathedral of Speed, the TT circuit, Assen, in the north of the country, close to the North Sea coast. And wow, what a day we've got in store for you. 2 MX2 races, 2 MXGP races. Tony Cairoli later on could be crowned world champion for a night time. What about MX2? Paul Jonas does have a possibility to be crowned world champion in MX2. We'll talk about that in more detail in a moment. But we're a couple hours north of Amsterdam. A whole bunch of sand has been dumped on this circuit here for the 3rd year in a row, and it's a challenging circuit this year. We had rain through Friday night and Saturday. It was a little bit wet, particularly coming out of this bottom loop and down the next straight alongside the paddock area. But the rest of the circuit is very, very good indeed. We've had nothing but blue skies and sunshine and a cloudless sky overhead, and the fans over there bathed in something of an autumnal sunshine here today. A complete contrast to yesterday. It was almost Baltic out there, but the 1,500-meter long circuit looking very, very good indeed. And well, we're getting ready to go racing. The gate drop here around about 1:15 local time, so around about 13 minutes or so. Best seats in the house over there in the main bleachers on what is normally the start-finish straight and the final chicane on this famous road race circuit. Unless you're up there, of course. Well, before we go anywhere, though, if you are joining us for the first time, let's take a look at this circuit in more detail. Here's our GoPro Trek preview. Was taken yesterday in very, very challenging conditions, actually. Here we go. Take a look at how they were yesterday. On the Red Bull KTM from the MXGP class, and Brent Van Donnet from Premier Yamaha MX2 take us for a lap around Assen. About 100 metres down to turn 1, turn right, and then over the foxhole shot line there just before that inside mogul. These were the conditions yesterday, and you'll be amazed at how much different they look today. 2 giant rollers, this little step down, take us down into another single, the 180 left, that is turn 3. Still a little bit sticky on the inside through there. Riders will be searching for new lines as the race unfolds. So there's a single on the exit, heading down this next straight to turn 4. This is also the final turn on the racetrack, right in front of the main grandstand. 7 waves, pretty far spaced apart as well. And you can see how those lines were chewed up yesterday. The Monster Energy finish line jump is here. Then as soon as they land from that, we're through the dip and then onto the Ippon tabletop. Brings us into a 180 right, turn 5. That's pit lane over there to the right on a road race circuit on a normal day. Gives you some ideas how much sand has been brought in to build this circuit. This 180 left, now this is probably the most stickiest part of the racetrack still. Even though it's had some work, it will get to look like this by the end of MX2 race 1. The media gallery is up there to the left. And then as we turn left, 90 degrees underneath the walkway, through this sweeping right and over the Monster Energy hill, takes us into the next right-hander. A single on the way in, a single on the way out. So just to even things out a little bit in terms of inside-inside combinations. But if you do take the inside-outside there, it's very quick into this next straight and into this next right-hander. What you'll see riders doing here is picking the front wheel up on the face of that as it starts to deteriorate, just to let the back end soak everything up. Second, third gear corners all the way through here, and then we swing right through this sweeper over the Monster Energy hill. This used to be the long sweeping right-hander that took us to the finish line when we first came here in 2015, but now it's the Tag Heuer jump, a simple up and over. You can see the start line there to the left and the waiting zone, the podium, the skybox. The riders head down past pit lane, rejoin at turn 1 to start another lap here in Assen. right a few moments ago. And look at that brilliant sunshine. Look at the difference the start straight is already looking already. But Conrad Muse and Paul Jonas with Lisa Leyland.
Hello and welcome to the penultimate round of the 2017 season. MX2 guys almost ready to have their first race, but before they do, I want to speak to Red Bull KTM Factory Racing's Paul Jonas. Paul's difficult day yesterday, perhaps your worst qualifying. I think it was 19th you came home in. Just tell us what happened.
Yeah, no, I would say not the best start. I was in top 5, I think, but then, on one of the jumps, the jumps are quite soft, and I just went on a takeoff and jumped off the track, just a fortunate mistake, and I started from last and then came back to 20, I think, and I had one more crash. So, that's racing, luckily it happened yesterday, and, I'm ready to fight today.
Track's dried out quite a bit. How's it changed since yesterday?
Actually, I was expecting that it's going to be more dry like in this morning, but I think now for the racing it's going to be more dry and, I think also easier for passing. So for sure it's going to be a tough race because the track is quite difficult, but looking forward for racing.
Okay, have a good one. Thanks for that, Paul Jonas there. Next rider I want to speak to is Conrad Muse. Actually, yesterday in qualifying we saw all three Rockstar Energy, Husqvarna, MX2 guys in the top 3. If I can get over to him now. Conrad actually started off 17th in the opening lap, and he worked his way all the way up to 3rd. If he is here, Conrad. Sorry, he's just warming up. Yeah, he started in 17th in the opening lap, worked his way up to 3rd. So it looks like you kept your pace, you passed Siwa, and you've been working on your fitness. So just tell us about your race yesterday.
Yeah, no, definitely. We've got our head down the last few weeks in the week, at the practice tracks. And we've been getting the motors done, and we've been working really hard. So it was nice to see that obviously pay off yesterday. I didn't get such a good start. I think I was about 17th on the first turn. But it came from the heart yesterday. It really did, and it was nice to feel that, as I haven't really showed that all year. So. Yeah. It was nice to kind of come back through grid and pass some of the top riders, that have obviously won a lot of GPs and that are fighting for the championship. So it ended out to be a good day. I finished 3rd. So no, we've got a really good gate pick for today. But I mean, I've said to a lot of guys from the team, I don't really think it matters whether you're 1st or 20th in the qualifying race yesterday. It's all pretty even. So yeah, it's fair for everyone today, and I'm looking forward to having 2 really good races.
How important, I mean, you said it doesn't really matter in the qualifying race, but how important is it to have a good gate pick for this race?
I mean, yeah, I say it doesn't matter, but it does matter. As you can see, some of the gates are a little wet, and the ones down here are kind of a little bit more drier. So obviously it does matter quite a bit, but no, I obviously got the job done yesterday, and I've got a good gate pick for today. So no, I'm really happy, and I'm looking forward to it.
Good luck, Coran. Thank you. Good luck to all the guys here. It's time for MX2 Race 1.
Michele Chervelin will not start this weekend. The HRC MX2 rider injured after the crash in the USA. He tore a muscle in the groin. He aggravated it again in the week, and so he will not take part today. Championship looks like this, though. Paul Jonas, 40 points clear of Jeremy Siwa. Thomas Kjær-Olsen, 133 points back, so it's really down to Jonas and Siwa now. Pat Terrell is 4th, Covington is 5th. Alvin Osler moved up a couple of places last time out with his results in the USA, but it's very, very tight. We'll talk more about the standings in a moment. Here's the highlights, though, from MX2 Race 2's qualifying race yesterday. The gate dropped, and on board here with one of the HSF boys, and it was number 10, I think, of Valandrin, or it might have been Boges, actually, or Puches, because Puches made a great start. Around the outside here on the TM was Anton Goll. But Thomas Covington easily into the lead as he found his way past Julian Lieber in the early stages of the race. Lieber went to the inside, Covington cut back, his teammate was behind him. And then, towards the end of the lap, Thomas Covington did find a way through on the number 33 on the LRT KTM. Jonas, though, wasn't so lucky. He fell. Just ahead of him there was Morgan Liciardo. So the Red Bull KTM and the Monster Energy Kawasaki had it all to do from the back of the field. Covington, though, as he came past pit lane, found his way past the KTM on his Husqvarna to take over the lead. That was on lap 4, actually, and then Thomas Kjær-Olsen in third was also looking for a way through, but he would have to wait another few laps to be able to pass the the Belgian. David Puches was having a good ride on his HSF KTM. He started in 4th. Vlaanderen was in 5th. Seewer was in 6th, and from out of nowhere, from a poor start, Conrad Mewse found his way past the championship second place rider at the moment, Jeremy Seewer, and went after Puches. His job was made a little bit easier, though, when Puches fell, but Jonas was having a nightmare. Too many mistakes for the championship leader. Maybe a sign of nerves. Maybe a sign of things to come today. Listen to the panic rev. In a moment, we'll see the 46 of Puches go down in this very corner as Seewer battled his way through just to get himself a good gate pick. He was behind the 2 Huskies at that point in the race. Covington making a slight mistake. That line choice there caught out Lever, though. That was Puches and Mewse going around the outside. That got them up into 4th and 5th. And Puches did fall in the left-hander at the end of the straight here in the moment. That was Thomas Kjær-Olsen finding his way past Lever to go into 2nd. Then you hear the panic rev there from Puches just going down, tipping it over in that left-hander. He eventually picked himself up ahead of Prado, but Prado couldn't find his way past. He came home in 7th. It was a 5th qualifying race win for Thomas Covington. Thomas Kjær-Olsen, Conrad Mewse at Rockstar Energy Husqvarna 1, 2, 3. Here's how the riders go to the line then for MX2 Race 1 here at round 18 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of the Netherlands at Assen. Thomas Covington, Thomas Kjær-Olsen, Conrad Mewse at Rockstar Energy 1, 2, 3. That's how they finished in the qualifying race yesterday. Just one Suzuki in amongst the Austrian outfit there. That was Jeremy Seewer for Team Suzuki World MX2 in 4th. And then it was the HSF Logistic KTMs of Calvin Vlaanderen, David Puches, the Red Bull KTM of Jorge Prado, Brian Bogers and Julian Lieber. He got docked 5 places in the end, actually, after finishing 4th. So he was credited with 9th for failing a noise test at the end of the qualifying race. Ben Watson, Hitachi Contract Furniture Group KTM. He was with us on MXGP TV yesterday on our studio show. So too was Romain Fevre and Kevin Strygos. So if you want to check that out on demand, then feel free to do so. And if you are watching on MXGP TV for the first time, don't forget we have our end of season discount, 70% now off. And that includes everything that we've had so far this year in 2017, including the FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations at the end of this month, and our 26-minute behind the gate highlights package as well. Just saw Thomas Covington and Jeremy Seewer. Seewer really has nothing to lose, but this guy here, Paul Jonas, on the Red Bull KTM, he is 40 points clear of Jeremy Seewer. If Jonas, let's say if Jonas was to go 1-1 today and pick up 50 points, and Jeremy Seewer finished 3rd twice, Jonas is champion. But we saw from yesterday how difficult Paul Jonas was making his riding in the qualifying race, and he'll be hoping A, for a good start, and B, just to get enough points to hopefully extend, at the very least, over Jeremy Seewer with just 1 round to go. Thomas Kjær-Olsen, the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rider, gets himself into position. We are almost ready here to go. MX2 Race 1, 15-second board. About to go up. There's Conrad Mewse. He looks like he's gone in gate 1. Alongside him will be Hunter Lawrence, number 96 for Suzuki World MX2. He didn't have the best qualifying race yesterday, but he's looking forward to it. He came home in 11th. Right, here we go. The 15-second board is up. It is about to turn to 5. Round 18 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. The MXGP of the Netherlands here at Assen is about to go now. Charging down into turn 1. Who would it be that grabs the foxhole shot? Prado from the outside. Swings across everybody, or is it Jonas? It might have been Jonas, you know, with a cute line from out of nowhere. Yeah, Jonas with a foxhole shot, and he leads going into turn 3. He's got Jago Kietz just there behind him in 4th place now, because he quickly loses positions to Jorge Prado, 61. Kietz coming out in 3rd though, Covington in 4th. As the 2 Red Bull KTMs charge down through the wave. Now, does Jonas need his teammate riding shotgun, or does he need him challenging for him for the race win here? Because certainly Jonas doesn't need to be putting any unnecessary pressure on this opening lap. Covington is 3rd, Kietz is 4th. 5th is the number 19 of Thomas Kjær Olsen. They've cleared the ruts out of there for now. That is as good as the track has been through that part of the racetrack all weekend. Going to our overhead cam. Jonas, Prado, Covington, Kietz. There's your top 4. Who's next as we go through there? Conrad Mewse is in 5th place. Got his teammate alongside him. Thomas Kjær Olsen in 6th. Then we have the Suzukis of, well, Jeremy Seaver is actually the lead Suzuki as he passes through there. Look, number 91, then Bogus, then Puches, and then Lieber. Verlanderen not too far away either, just a couple places behind his HSF teammates. As Mewse dives down the inside of Jago Kietz. At least he's got a little bit further than he did in Lommel when he debuted in MX2, Jago Kietz. At least he's upright here. Just get this first lap under his belt and he'll be all right. But Prado trying to close in on his teammate here, but Jonas doing a great job. And again, what a difference 24 hours can make, and also what the conditions make here, because Jonas struggled yesterday in the qualifying race, no doubt about it. But it's Red Bull KTM 1-2 at the moment. Jonas leads Prado. Covington just 3 seconds further back in 3rd. Mewse 4th. Kietz 5th. Siwa is 6th. And look at Mewse diving down the inside of Covington. Takes away a position from his teammate and gets himself up into 3rd. Conrad Mewse was saying in the pre-grid interview that it was all from the heart yesterday, but Covington bites back immediately. The 2 Rockstar Energy Husqvarnas need to work together here just to close down on the 2 Red Bull KTMs ahead of them. Otherwise, they'll start tripping each other up, and that will play nicely into the hands of the guys ahead of them. Look, and Prado harassing his teammate here. Oh, he's going in tight as well, and one slip there, he can put them both down. That is not what Jonas needs. But cast your minds back 12 months ago when Prado did exactly the same to Jeffrey Herlings in the 2nd race on Sunday. Right, Mewse 3rd. Prado's power to weight advantage compared to Jonas. Obviously favouring the Spaniard there, but just losing a little bit of timing. Favours going around the outside in turn 2. Mewse and Covington, they're still fighting over 3rd and 4th. Is it Covington or Mewse that's got himself into 3rd now? Because a moment ago it was Mewse who found his way through. I think Covington is still there though. So Mewse 4, Kietz 5, Siwa in 6, Bogus 7. 8 for Thomas Kjær Olsen, he's gone missing. 9 for Verlanderen, 10 Puches. Lieber is 11. So it's him that's gone missing. 12 is Hunter Lawrence, 13 Ben Watson, 14 Alan Austin, Jed Beaton of Australia 15, Mika Boyd-Dewald 16, Lars van Berkel, Ruben Fernandez, and Morgan Lasciardo. Giving these guys time just to space each other out, but you just know that Prado is looking at the championship leader thinking, well, you've got 40 points. Don't mind if I take 3 off you, do you? That's what he's trying to do. Circuit, very challenging, has been all weekend, but this is the fastest that it has been. 1:39 on the opening lap for Paul Jonas, and 1:38.4 for Prado. .143 in warm-up this morning. That was as quick as it had been all weekend until that point. at this circuit much more as it was 2015 when we first came here. Organisers having to work extremely hard just to get it into this kind of condition. Non-stop work throughout the weekend, through the rain. Lots of racing here this week as well with the 150s, the women and the vets. But the gap was less than a second between Jonas and Prado at the end of that second lap. Definitely got his race face on, hasn't he, Jonas? Where is Brent van Donning? He hasn't made a lap yet, so Van Donning obviously having a problem. Anton Goal and Magna Klingsheim having their issues. Oh, handbags, girls. Over the line they go. Jonas, 1 second clear now of Prado. Prado jumps long, gains about a 5 length in that little manoeuvre. Oh, a little bit loose. I wonder how soft it is actually underneath there, and whether it's actually going to bog the riders down if they go too far over to the left, for instance, where it has been a little bit softer. Oh, Jonas just catches his foot pegs there as he rises over that Monster Energy hill. Still got his teammates shadowing him. In some ways, this is perfect for Jonas, but feels that he's definitely into a race situation, whether it's his teammate or whether it was Seawood behind him or Covington. Covington just happens to be back there in third as Prado choosing some pretty good lines out here in the early stages of MX2 Race 1. Anton Goal just getting past there after his little exchange with Magna Klingsheim. FNH Racing Kawasaki. So the TM factory rider, he'll limp home. So Van Donning parked. That's a shame because he was looking good, but he got docked 5 places yesterday for noise failure as well. He looked good in morning warm-up. Right, are the two Rockstar Energy Husqvarnas starting to close in on Prado? Covington, Muse, Yago Geertz having a great ride on the Sarkar Racing KTM. Then Siwa for Suzuki World MX2, then Brian Bogers, then Verlandren's up to 8, so he's found his way past Thomas Kjær Olsen. Thomas Kjær Olsen in 9th now. David Puches is 10. Gap between first and third is 4.2 seconds. Fastest rider on track was Jonas that time at 39.3 compared to a 0.8 and a 0.9. But look how quickly Prado gets back in onto Proulx Jonas here. It was 1.4 as they crossed the line just a few turns ago. And you can really see him challenging Jonas now for a shot at the lead. Remember, Proulx Jonas needs to be more than 50 points clear after today's activities. Oh, Prado. Talk about towing a very, very tight rope with your teammate. Clearly a bright talent, a great star of the future for Red Bull KTM, but coming in a little bit hot on his teammate on 1 or 2 occasions so far. And Jeffrey Hurlings wasn't so complimentary of his riding last year in a similar situation, and I think Jonas has already had words of a similar nature this year. But watch this here. You know, it was giving your teammate room, and there's almost taking him out. They actually touched their foot peg on front wheel. 21 minutes to go. Proulx Jonas continues to lead MX2 Race 1. It's round 18 of the FIA Motocross World Championship. The two Red Bull KTMs of Jonas and Prado are only slightly ahead of Thomas Covington and Conrad Muse, the two Rockstar Energy Husqvarnas. But the big thing here is that Prado is really pushing his teammate, who is trying to go for a first MX2 world title. And he doesn't need his young little whippersnapper of a Spaniard just getting involved. He's very fast through this part of the racetrack. Prado is going for the race win. And if he's not careful, he is going to be in danger of taking out Jonas. And I'm sure as he goes around the outside, Jonas might just be better just to say, you know what, you can get on with it, and if there is an opportunity later on in the race, I'll try and get my moment. But Prado leads on lap 6. Jonas just starting to spin up. Ah, there you go. There is a mistake from Prado. just pushing the boundaries. Caught a hole on the jump there. Thing almost swapped 90 degrees on him. So where is Jeremy Seewer? Seewer not making any inroads. The gap's 50 points as it stands at the moment. So that'll come down to 47. So making Jonas's job slightly easier with Seewer behind him and not making any ground on Jargo Geerts, Conrad Mewse or Thomas Covington. Covington a race winner here last year, if you remember. Jonas's turn, though, to try and run alongside his teammate Prado. I wonder if he'll pick up on the lines coming out of this next right-hander. He'll see that Prado is fast down here, and he might even switch it up himself. See, Jonas is quick there, but Prado is quick through the next part of the track, but already starting to grab foot pegs as he hits that final jump. Great performance, though, from Prado. Just like he was here 12 months ago on what effectively was his first MX2 GP. Right, here's the pass. There's a lap ago. Prado down the inside of Jonas, taking over the lead on lap 5. And back to where they are now, just a lap later. So Covington third, 5 seconds behind these guys, just over the Tag Heuer jump there. Still, Conrad Mewse pushing him in 4th place. Great ride this from the young Brit, Conrad Mewse. He's 16th in the championship chase at the moment. He did have a 4th in race 1 in Sweden just a couple of rounds ago, and that has been his 2nd best performance. He got a 3rd in Moto number 2 in Latvia. So Conrad Mewse here, 2nd rider in shot on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, looking to at least equal that. He's got to find his way past his American teammate first. 7 waves here, very difficult to negotiate, because as soon as they come out of that final turn, they're right there upon you. A couple of MXGP guys able to double their way through the midsection of that, but Jonas looks to settle down and goes to the inside of Prado, takes back the lead on lap 8. So a great lap then for the 41 of Paul Jonas. He's only 2/10 quicker than Prado, but Prado definitely riding with some kind of youthful exuberance and some kind of urgency. We know he's a good sand rider, and he's showing it here. But it was Jonas who grabbed the foxhole shot at the start of the race, from all the way on the outside gate. Didn't really have any other alternative. So Jonas, your new leader. Prado 2nd, Covington 3rd, Mewse 4th, Geerts 5th, Seewer 6th, Verlanderen 7, Bogas 8, Olsen 9, Puches 10, Julian Lieber is 11, Hunter Lawrence 12, Alvin Osland 13, Ben Watson 14, Jed Beaton is in 15th place, Mika Boy de Waal 16, Ruben Fernandez, Lars van Berkel, Morgan Luciano and Giuseppe Tropepi. No Brent van Donnick, Andy Klingsheim or Anton Gold. Anton Gold and Klingsheim collided and just looked like they went and parked their bikes back after that. Seewer just struggling to get on terms with the young teenager here on the Sarkar Racing KTM, riding as a wild card this weekend from Belgium, Jargo Geerts. You think the shackles were off this weekend for Jeremy Seewer in terms of, you know, the championship is almost without his reach. Got absolutely nothing to lose, just get on with it, but not able to do that. Didn't make a great start. He's been sat there just outside of the top 5 the entire moto, and with 15:45 on the clock plus 2 laps, it looks like the title could be clinched in the second moto as long as Jonas stays ahead of Jeremy Seewer. Because the gap, as we say, 50 points at the moment, 671, 721. So there's already a 10-point gain there as Seewer just gets a little bit wobbly. down, burying the bike too deep in the sand there. Valandren starting to close in and apply the pressure to the Swiss Team Suzuki MX2 rider. Again, losing the front end on the landing. So just under 15 minutes, plus 2 to go. MX2 race 1. And Calvin Valandren is closing in on Jeremy Seewer. He goes around the outside of the Swiss rider, takes a position away as they charge down into turn 3. Seewer reacting immediately, looks to tote the inside line tight and makes his move stick. But Valandren was very close to taking another point or so away from Jeremy Seewer, who's struggling here in MX2 race 1. Regroups well though, gets over the Monster Energy finish line. He is in 6th place, 14 seconds almost down on Paul Jonas, who is just over a second clear of his teammate Jorge Prado. Calvin Valandren with a slight hand injury a week ago in the US GP, saving himself for here, which is effectively his home round, but gets the door shut in his face. Valandren, good drive over the hill on the HSF Logistics Motorsport KTM. He'll go wide. He might make the pass stick here. Will there be a reaction from Seewer in the next turn? See how the lines favour each other, and Seewer just went in too hot there. Valandren could have pulled out of that challenge, but there was no way he was going to do that. Quick pull of the roll-off for the tear-off there then for Valandren as he finally makes that pass stick. It's taken him 3/4 of a lap. More than actually, almost a whole lap. But Seewer knows he cannot afford to lose any more points. He tries to get the wheels on the ground early. Thinks about out-dragging the KTM. He switches to the outside, tries to apply the pressure. Whoa, they almost get into each other there as Valandren got stuck in the turn and then uses the outside just to power back past. Playing perfectly into the hands of Jago Geertz there, who's just out there on his own, minding his own business in 5th on his privateer Sarkar Racing KTM 250. Just goes to show that a lot of this is down to technique as well. Seen Seewer diving into too many berms too heavily. Watch how close this was. Seewer tried to launch it down the inside. Similar result to Prado on Jonas earlier in the race. Jago Geertz, 9:31, your lead rider in shot. He is in 5th place. A European 250 championship rider normally. But stepping up to MX2, he didn't make it down the start straight in Lommel on his first attempt in the first race. Did have a good qualifying race though on the Saturday, Jago Geertz, but it's his first real test in MX2. He's putting up a good fight as well, making a good show of himself. All of a sudden, got a man down at the end of the start straight, so cautionary yellows. Who was that? So Giuseppe Tropepi, I think, just looking at the riders that are dropping down. Yeah, Tropepi down there, crashing at the end of the start straight and just holding his knee. So easily done. Conditions can catch you out in the blink of an eye. Riders saying yesterday how slippery the track was and how grippy at the same time. Come out of the turn, expect to use a berm to propel you forward, and the next thing, back end just lights up, catches an edge. You see actually how wet the rear tyre is. It gives you an indication as to how wet the sand is here. Normally the sand would stick to the rims, but you can see the rear tyres there. But there's Valandren. He's 5th, found his way past Jago Geertz. So there's an indication as to how much Jeremy Seewer is struggling here. In this first MX2 race in the MXGP of the Netherlands, Assen. Sometimes it's easy just to let your head go and wander and think about the championship and, you know, I need to beat this guy, I need to finish ahead of him at least, I need to take points. While Jeremy C was here, I just wonder whether he's just questioning the whole championship situation now, and, you know, he almost threw in the towel or just conceded the fact that Jonas is probably going to be world champion because the gap was getting bigger and bigger, and, you know, that was earlier in the year, but just a few rounds ago. But he's got to try and go back after the teenager. Yago Geerts. The races are going to be a longer, slightly longer duration for him. But he won't mind about that. Lives not far away from Lommel, but good drive for Seewer out of the second turn. But look at that privateer KTM just hooking up. Oh, Seewer does not need to go down there. That could have been the title chase over. Dives it to the inside, coming out of the final turn. Philanderen getting away from them on the number 10 HSF Logistics Motorsport KTM. Packed grandstand here to see this penultimate round here in the Netherlands. Beautiful blue skies, but Seewer looking to charge down. Yago Geerts knows that he's there. He'll try to cut back, but he also knows that Seewer is possibly in for a title fight as well. So as it stands at the moment, Paul Jonas and Jeremy Seewer are separated by 51 points. But Jeremy Seewer has just found his way past Yago Geerts. So that brings it back to 50. Still 75 on the table after this race, don't forget. So as every lap passes, as the time ticks down, it's looking good for Paul Jonas to possibly clinch the title here today. And that would be potential double delight for KTM, because Tony Cairoli also has the same opportunity to take a title for the 9th time this weekend in Assen. That race coming up a little later on, of course. Right, 7.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. MX2 race 1 here. The MXGP of the Netherlands in Assen. Paul Jonas has finally broken free from his young teammate there. Jorge Prado hitting the city jump now in the background. That gap between them is around about 2.8, so almost 3 seconds as we start to hit traffic. Thomas Covington 4 seconds further back, but was quicker than Prado last time around. But look at Conrad Mewse breathing down his teammate's neck here. Oh, he's going to get squeezed on the top of the hill there. He had to sit it down, and just think about the whole situation there. But these two fighting over third. So Yago Geerts down in 7th, but does he go off track here? Oh, yes. Wow, big crash for Yago Geerts, and that is a hard landing. Just shows you how close the boundaries are here at this racetrack. If you get it wrong, Tim Geiser found that for himself last year when he launched his bike into the catchment fencing. But Mewse, while we've cut away from that action a moment ago, has now got himself into 3rd. Covington is 4th. Great ride this from Conrad Mewse, former 85 junior world champion and European champion. That corner is a very interesting corner, isn't it? Mewse not so friendly on his teammate. Oh, and also Mewse had a bit of a lucky break there as Covington just got caught on the inside with the back marker. Tell you what, Conrad Mewse is not that far behind Jorge Prado. So Jonas leads 1.9 seconds clear of Prado. Mewse was 4 tenths quicker than the KTM rider ahead of him last time around. There, Prado. And there is Muse. So Muse still has time to close down this gap. Looking very confident. I know he's training very, very hard in the UK, physically at the moment. He's a rider without a ride at the moment in terms of no announcements have been made as far as his future next year, but then listen to other people in the paddock, maybe he does have a ride secured, but I'm guessing it's still early days, or at least he's talking to people. Interesting to see where he ends up, but putting in a great showing for his Rockstar Energy Husqvarna squad in the closing stages of the season here with some good performances. And as he said on the pre-grid interview, long overdue, hasn't been riding like how he did yesterday in the qualifying race, and certainly how he is riding here in this race. But Jonas and Prado are right there in his sights. He could go for the win here, Conrad Muse. It was 6.2 seconds down on Jonas as he hit the line last time around. Right, there's Jonas, there's Prado, and they're separated by less than a second, and 4.3 now between Jonas and Conrad Muse. All of a sudden, Jonas thinking maybe about the title race and starting to freeze a little bit here and stiffen up. Prado with nothing to lose. All of a sudden, Muse goes down! Muse was just pushing too hard. He was cross-rutted. He had got that gap down, and he hands third back to Thomas Covington. Watch this. In the background, oh, he's already down, so too late on the replay. But Jonas leads the way. Prado closing in, and Covington is just too far behind, and his lap times have just staled a little bit there and stalled. He was a 43, Jonas was a 44, Prado was a 43, Muse was a 42.5. He was quickest of the first 5 guys last time around. And with Muse down, he picks himself up in 6th position. So it's now Jonas, Prado, Covington, Verlanderen. Siwa is up to 5th. That helps him out as well, because that is a gift and a half for the Suzuki World MX2 rider. That just about keeps his title hopes alive, mathematically, if nothing else. So Covington now in 3rd for Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Julian Lieber for LRT KTM is in 9th place. Hunter Lawrence, Suzuki World MX2, great podium a week ago in the USA at WW Motocross Park. He's in 10th place. Ben Watson for Hitachi Contract Furniture Group, KTM UK, is 11th. David Puch is 12th. 13 is Alvin Osland for Khmer Yamaha. His Yamaha teammate Brent Van Donning out after a lap or two. Looked like a technical issue. 14th for Jet Beat for Carglass Honda. 15 Ruben Fernandez for FNH Racing. 16 Mika Boy DeWaal. And as we look at Conrad Muse here trying to regroup just ahead of Thomas Kjær Olsen, his teammate, wearing a different colorway this weekend. So the 18 shot range. Conrad Muse just needs to keep his focus now. Very easy when you go down like that just to blow off a little bit of steam and lose a little bit of energy. Just behind them is Brian Bogers. So Muse, had he not fallen, would have just had that impetus to keep pushing on to the KTMs ahead of him whilst in 3rd place. But Bogers, a danger man here. Thomas Kjær Olsen here, and a nervous look over the shoulder there from Muse. A telltale sign that he's about spent here. Just lost the concentration, struggling to regroup and rejoin the fight. He's trying, though. He's trying to keep it in there. Wave yellows in this next left-hander. There's Jonas, your race leader. 95, Mika Boy DeWaal on the Vamo Racing Honda. That looks like a mechanical issue. Could be 3 laps to go. Could be about 38 seconds on the clock when they hit the line. But behind them, frantic activity. Whole gaggle of riders coming back in the opposite direction here. Siwa is in there. Thomas Covington, his teammates, duking it. Oh, leg over the side of the bike there from Thomas Kjær-Olsen. The right leg, he caught it a hole or a rut there, and the right leg just came over the top of the seat. He got it back on quickly, didn't even blink an eye, and he's gone after Conrad Mewse. An easy pass in the end on his teammate. But had he not fallen here a lap ago, Conrad Mewse might still be challenging for the lead. Bogus in the background there, now challenging Conrad Mewse. Mewse now in 7th place. Bogus easily around the outside on his HSF Logistics Motorsport KTM. This shows how the two lines, the insides and the outsides, are working well. They complement each other perfectly. As you go in, you look like you've made the pass, you go around the outside, you get it back in the next turn. It just needs the riders to get out and across earlier, just to close the door. So here's what happened with Conrad Mewse earlier. Just watch in the background, hits the jump, wasn't quite straight, it was off balance. Caught a hole there as well and just slid off and down and out of 3rd. 2-lap board being readied here. Paul Jonas about to hit the line, having completed 18 laps. Prado just behind him, still a second, keeping him very, very honest indeed. Thomas Covington should be going in the opposite direction. In 3rd, he's already over the line. 4th will be for Landrin. He's getting pushed now by Jeremy Seewer. Nothing in it between them. Verlandren was a 45.1, Seewer a 43.8. All of a sudden, with 2 laps to go, Seewer has decided to wake up and join the party and join this MX2 race 1. There's Covington just going through. Right, there is Seewer. Just lost a little bit of ground between the finish line and here, because he was only a second behind. Watch this. Wow. Wow. That, well, I'm not going to say anything, but Seewer, very lucky not to do a Yargo hit. Survives the moto for now. Got a lap and a half in which to close back down on Calvin Verlandren. He's got him there just ahead of him, and Prado has decided to yield. He's letting his teammate get on with it. So Paul Jonas coming out of the final turn on the run down to the Monster Energy finish line. He'll take the 1-lap board. Still not all over yet, though. We have seen Prado backwards and forwards, closing in on his teammate. It was a 45.7 for Jonas, a 47.7 for Prado that time around. That gap just over 3 seconds now. Back marker. Covington on the inside there on the white Husqvarna, number 64. So he's in 3rd place. Verlandren 4, Seewer is in 5th. The gap out to 49 points as it stands at the moment. Covington has had an excellent ride here. Definitely going to be contesting the podium. Which position will it be for the American? He'll just want to bring it home in 3rd place. Has he ridden the even smarter race here? Let the 2 Red Bull KTMs blow themselves out. Has he just been holding back, saving it for the next race? Because it's going to be a tough, brutal race later on today. Paul Jonas, though, will be within a point of the championship. He will have a 49-point gap over Jeremy Seewer going into race 2. He has more race wins than Seewer. So all of a sudden, that prospect of being crowned MX2 World Champion 2017 is very, very real. He can't afford to lose a position is to his teammate. It looks like he's holding back. The checkered flag goes out. Pauls Jonas wins moto number 1 here at Assen at the MXGP of the Netherlands in MX2. And that was a devastating victory and a message to Jeremy Seewer and the rest of the gang as he closes in on a first ever world title. So Jonas wins it from Prado, Covington 3rd, Valandren 4th, Seewer is 5th. In short, Jonas just needs to finish the first race. He just needs to pick up a point in moto number 2 to be crowned world champion. The important thing was he finished ahead of Jeremy Seewer. Hunter Lawrence just over the line there in 10th. We'll give you the rundown in just a moment. But what a race, a Red Bull KTM finish, 1st and 2nd. Covington for Rockstar Energy Husqvarna was 3rd in the HSF Logistics KTM of Calvin Valandren, a fantastic ride for him in 4th. 5th for Suzuki World MX2's Jeremy Seewer, and Conrad Mewes, unlucky not to be able to challenge for the win when he fell, whilst in 3rd and closing in on Jonas and Prado. Just waiting for 1 or 2 more riders to come over the line then before we grab a word with our race 1 winner, Pauls Jonas, who needs just 1 point from race 2 to clinch the FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship title. 30 minutes plus 2, though, is a long time. Here is the Red Bull KTM rider being chaperoned down to the winner's area. He will grab a quick word with Lisa Leyland. Let's hear what he has to say. Was he nervous? Was he relaxed? See what he has to say.
Pauls Jonas, congratulations. What a difference 24 hours can make. You're really closing in on that title now.
Yeah, you know, over the night I think about everything, you know, and today the track is way different than it was yesterday. You know, this is more like sand track, not a mud race. So, you know, I got a whole shot from the outside, you know, so I was really happy about that. And, you know, it's easy when you are in front in the start, and then, you know, had some nice battle with Jorge, you know, with my teammate, and really happy with him finishing 2nd also, and, you know, looking forward for 2nd moto.
Good luck for that. Thank you.
PJ41. Will he be turning that double digit into a single digit come the end of the day? Will he be turning the red plate into gold later on this afternoon? So far, he looks cool, calm and collected. He looks in control, and the World Championship situation looks a million miles away from his mind. He took a start-to-finish win. He led every single one of the 20 laps. He picked up 25 points in the process as well. His nearest rival, Jeremy Seewer, could only manage 5th. He is almost home and dry. Official confirmation of MX2 Race 1. Pauls Jonas and Jorge Prado, Red Bull KTMs, 1st and 2nd. The Rockstar Energy Husqvarna of Thomas Covington, 3rd. HSF Logistics Motorsport, KTM Valandren, 4th. Seewer 5 for Suzuki World MX2. Mewes, Bogers and Olsen ran out the top 8 with Julian Lieber on the LRT, KTM in 9th, and Hunter Lawrence 10. Ben Watson 11th for Hitachi Contract Furniture Group KTM. Davey Pooch is 12, Alvin Osland 13, and the rest of the guys, as you see on screen, as we prepare for the highlights of MX2 Race 1. Starting to get a little bit cooler here at Assen. The sun disappearing for now, but it was certainly hot action out on track. The gate dropped for MX2. Over on the right-hand side, a flying start for the number 41, and look how big that foxhole shot was for him. He still had work to do going into turn 2, which is where the line is. But it's him and his teammate, Jonas and Prado, who duked it out in the early stages of the race. Prado wasn't letting his teammate off the hook, though, either. Thomas Covington was in 3rd. Iago Hiertz was in 4th. He soon got pushed back to 5th as Conrad Mewes charged down the inside of his teammate Covington to get himself into 3rd place. Prado had 1 or 2 steps down the inside of Jonas as he looked for 25 points and a race win, oblivious as to the championship task at hand by the Latvian. Eventually his move did come, and he did take over the lead, but later on in the race, Jonas fought back, regained the lead. In 4th position was Jargo Kiertz. Siwa was in 5th and Valandren was in 6th. Those two trading positions, and eventually Valandren did go around the outside to get himself into 4th in what was a fair exchange between the Suzuki and the KTM. That was for 5th place. Then Jargo Kiertz had a huge crash off the side of the jump. He did pick himself up. He was okay, but while he did that, Muse went down the inside of his teammate Covington. That got him into 3rd place. And then he fell in the background as he was closing in on the leaders. That handed 3rd back to the American Thomas Covington. And as they came out of the final turn, it was Jonas and Prado who came over the line first for Red Bull, KTM, Covington, Valandren, and Siwa, your top 5. Muse came home in 6th. Fox whole shot time. Paul Jonas by about a week in MX2 race 1. So another black plate. Is it going to be the perfect day for the Latvian? Jarno Schläger, the Fox dealer from these parts, handing Jonas his Fox black plate. Fox black plate. He's now on 9, but Prado has already won it. Right, we'll take a look at some of the best moments from MX2 race 1. Right, we'll be back in just a few moments with MXGP Race 1. We'll see you then. Bye for now.